Kapitel 1. Der Held und die Prinzessin.
You're on a path in the woods.
Es gibt Stimme.
And at the end of that path is a cabin.
Viel Spaß, Timmy Dad.
And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Es kann nur eine Prinzessin geben. Und das bin ich. Explore. The end of the world, what are you talking about? Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Killing a princess seems kind of bad though, doesn't it? Can someone else do it? Ja, vielleicht. Ach so, es geht doch weiter. Forget it, I'm not doing it. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending? Ja!
Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end.
Ey, Solo, nee, ich. Eine Diva? Ja, das ist okay. Halt dich vom Klempner fern. Okay. Wird nicht gezeugt.
I mean, maybe some people do. Like nihilists or very, very evil people. But surely you're not one of those, right?
Also, wenn du nachfragen musst. The end of the world oder die... Ach so. Das ist nochmal das Gleiche. Okay. Ich glaube, eben hat meine Antwort nicht... Sweet, I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la Revolution. Ja, also vielleicht... Vielleicht, weil sie eingeschlossen ist.
I appreciate the mental exercise we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up.
Sicher? Also, ich meine,
And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
ist aber nicht so nett, oder?
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman?
Hä, es geht darum, dass ich niemanden töten will!
If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Hä, das Problematischste sind keine Menschen mehr. Also das finde ich jetzt nicht so problematisch. Also, naja. Noch etwas lauter. Warte, kann ich ins Menü? Weil, also mir ist die Musik zu laut. Dann kann ich auch noch lauter machen. Ja, aber warum kann die das denn machen, wenn die eh im Keller drin ist?
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
Du hast Beweise.
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Ja, ich gehe da hin und dann rede ich mit ihr. Und wenn sie so schlimm ist, wie du sagst, dann werde ich sie vielleicht töten, ja? Aber, also ich werde da auf nichts eingehen, solange ich nicht die Chance hatte, sie face to face zu sehen, ja?
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
Also ich finde den sehr unsympathisch. So, Prinzessin.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
Okay, warte, wir müssen noch drüber reden. Ja, ist ja auch so. Ich bringe doch keinen um, nur weil er sagt, bringe einen um. Also ich finde aber den Grafikstil sehr hübsch.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Ja, richtig. Frag Mario.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Ist das die gleiche Stimme? Ich gehe da weiter. Ich höre auf den Helden. Helden sind haben immer recht.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Ja, ich gehe gleich mal ohne. Brauch kein Messer. Notfalls erwürgen oder so. Mann, meine Strähne nervt mich so hart.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Ja klar, dann spüre ich wenigstens was. Wenn ich ein Messer nehme, merke ich ja nichts.
Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Die hat rosa als Farbe, die kann nicht böse sein.
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Der Held steht auf sie.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Ich bin hier, um dich zu retten. Ich bin hier, um dich zu retten. Na gut, ist einfach halt gelogen. Ich glaube, ich bin hier, um dich zu töten. Ach, ich sage erstmal Hi.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
Ihre Stimme, ne? Ich vertraue dir nicht. Na.
You walk down the stairs.
Hä, die ist angekettet. Wie soll die denn was machen?
There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
Wird die ein Dämon?
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Was, wer reitet mich?
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Also, wir reden erstmal.
Okay.
Ich vertraue dir trotzdem nicht. Ich vertraue Frauen nie. Ich mag Frauen, aber ich vertraue ihnen nicht. Hallo, Ossi. Wie heißt du denn?
Oh.
Das ist ein komischer Name.
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness.
Was?
Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Nee. Ich will deinen Namen.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess?
Also dein Name ist Prinzessin, ja?
Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like.
Nee, will ich aber nicht. Ich will deinen Namen.
I'm sorry, I've been down here so long, I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name, though. Everyone has a name.
Okay.
Okay, that's weird.
Ja, ein bisschen.
She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully you're starting to see that she can't be trusted.
Naja, sie hat ja gesagt,
Go
vielleicht
back upstairs,
vergessen.
Get the blade and slay
Nee, jetzt
her
wart doch
before it's
mal.
too late.
Ich weiß nichts über dich. Alles, was ich weiß, ist, dass du hier eingesperrt bist. Aus dem Grund.
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason.
Ja, und die wäre?
Don't actually know what that reason is,
Hallo,
but
Klippi.
you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some sort of an explanation.
Boah, die ist... Nee. Also dafür, dass sie die Eingesperrte ist und ich ihre einzige Rettung, also die ist ganz schön... Nee. Die redet mit mir so von oben herab.
You have all the explanation you need, and you should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
Ja, die kommt ja mit nix ab. Also wenn ich die erste Person bin, die du seit langem siehst. Was hast du gegessen oder getrunken?
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Also Chat, es tut mir leid, ich lasse sie da verrotten. Ich muss sie nicht unbedingt umbringen, aber ich nehme die nicht mit. Was für eine Bitch.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess.
Ganz schön frech für jemanden mit einem leicht entzündlichen Haus, ja?
Okay, but actually, what has she been eating?
Ja, ach!
She has to eat, right?
Was wirst du machen, wenn ich dich hier rauslassen würde?
The princess hesitates before responding. She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life. She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to hear.
Are you looking for the truth, or are you looking for the right answer? Because with the dynamic we have going on here, I don't think the specifics of what I do really matter. It's not like you'd believe me.
Du hast ja doch nicht mal ausprobiert, jetzt erzähl! I'm going to keep you locked away down here, at least for a little bit.
Die Brille sieht ja mal geil aus mit rosa Gläsern.
Also erstmal ist das lila, wenn du es mit rosa vergleichst. Und zweitens sind die eigentlich blau. Aber danke schön, Missy. Vielen, vielen Dank für den Resub. Danke für die 39 Monate. Dankeschön. Heute ist Resub Day. Oder? Von den Mods. Dankeschön, Missy. Hat Madame was Besseres zu tun oder warum ist die so? Ich weiß es auch nicht. But I just can't trust you. Ich lasse sie hier nochmal, ne? Also mindestens. Ja. 7 Chains, I can't believe. Nee. Nee, ich lasse sie da nochmal, ne? Also ich finde die echt unhöflich. Die soll sich nochmal überlegen, ob sie nicht ein bisschen netter zu mir ist.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
Es ist nur Gaming Glass. Also es ist nicht mal irgendwas krasses, es ist einfach nur Gaming Glass. Rosa, blau, lila, wo ist da der... Klemmi! Schönen Start ins Wochenende. Ja, ich hoffe, du auch.
I don't think I could bear being down here that much longer.
Dann würde ich mal überlegen, wie du mit mir redest, Miss, hä?
Leaving her alive is too risky.
Boah.
If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out. So, I'm the only one who liked that idea.
Das war meine Idee. Ich mag sie auch.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. It would make it easier for both of us if you'd help. But if you don't, I can promise that you'll regret that decision.
Sie ist plötzlich nicht mehr rosa. Hallo, Pillepalle. Mein Gaming-Glas ist braun, da steht Krombacher drauf. Wow.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
Oh, sperr die ein.
I know you think this is some kind of fair compromise, but it isn't. No one wins here.
Warum muss denn immer einer gewinnen? Wenn einer gewinnen muss, auch einer verlieren.
It's a chance we'll have to take. We can make this work if we just stay here and keep watch. No one has to die.
Da sieht man aber mit der Zeit immer schlechter mit, glaube ich dir.
Where are you going? You can't just leave me here.
You turn your back to the princess and make your way back to the stairs.
Fine. Turn your back on me. But it won't be long before I slip these chains. And once I'm out of here, there will be hell to pay for leaving me behind.
Ich hab's gelesen mit dem Kanufahren.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here.
Aber da ich gefragt habe, ob du auch einen guten Start hattest, habe ich gewartet, ob du noch sagst, dass es cool war oder ob es scheiße war.
Either way, she dropped the mask, didn't she? You can still grab the blade and get back down here.
Nee. No sticking. Ja, richtig.
It'll be the death of all of us, but
Nö.
we'll do it your.
Ja, meinen Weg. I want it my way.
You close the basement door, locking it behind you and quickly barricading it with the heavy wooden table that once held the blade. Okay, we can make this work. You settle in against the far wall to watch the basement door.
Nur ein Boot ist abgesoffen. Ach so, wenn's nur eins. Nee, aber das freut mich. Hallo, Scorpi.
It isn't long before you start to drift off, your eyelids heavy with fatigue. But sleep doesn't come. Instead, your rest is broken by a piercing, wailing voice calling out to you from the other side of the door.
Hello from the other side.
I know you're still there. Why don't you make things easier on yourself and let me out? It's not like this little door will hold for very long anyways. It's probably a good idea to try to get back on my good side.
She sounds terrifying. Like she's less of the princess you saw and more like something out of a nightmare. As she violently rattles the door, you do your best to shut her out of your mind.
When I get out of here, I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. I won't forget what you did, and I'll never forgive it. You don't know the kind of enemy you've made tonight.
Ich hab doch gefragt, wie du heißt.
It doesn't sound like she's getting any weaker. No, it doesn't.
That was just an act, wasn't it? You're not really innocent or harmless. You're not even a princess. Du bist ein Monster! Ach, ich geh einfach schlafen.
Just ignore her. Maybe the banging and wailing will stop if you just don't pay attention to it. You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you can and huddle up.
Boah, wie kann man denn bei dir bleiben schlafen? Da krieg ich ja jetzt schon Kopfschmerzen.
You jolt awake in the middle of the night to silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, and the door to the basement is ajar, its lock broken, and the table shoved out of the way. Where is she?
Thanks for helping me get out of that awful basement.
Bitteschön.
You try and stumble to your feet, but as the princess draws near, it's as though your body simply stops working. It isn't all at once. The paralysis comes in waves. First your toes go numb, and then your feet, and then your legs. You lie prone on the floor of the cabin, unable to do anything but witness her approach.
Du brauchst keinen Baileys mehr. Wo, also in was seid ihr Kanu geschwommen, gefahren? In Wodka?
Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But I have a duty to uphold the truth. Lying about the facts of the situation doesn't change them.
So helpless. I can take my time with you, can't I?
Klar, lass dir Zeit.
She steps closer, one silent footfall at a time, cocking her head in curiosity as you feel your organs shutting down one by one.
Andy Red Velvet. Beim Hausmeister Sturm klingeln hier jetzt Türen, Einschlagsklopfen. Was für eine Randale am Wochenende. Ja. Party.
Or maybe I can't take my time with you. You don't look well. A little green around the gills. What a shame. If you'd only helped me get out of here, we could have done such wonderful things together.
Also, dazu muss man sagen, ich habe meine Brille jetzt auf, ja? Ich sehe dich sehr gut, du musst nicht so nah kommen.
Your lungs stop drawing in breath, and your heart freezes in your chest. You have seconds left.
I'd say better luck next time, but we both know this is the end, don't we?
It can't be. This can't actually be how everything ends. I'm sorry, but it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Errungenschaft freigeschaltet. The real Slay the Princess starts here. Kapitel 2. Der Albtraum. Leere Flaschen im Boot liegen.
You're on a path.
Don't drink and drive.
And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ja, also irgendwie habe ich ein Déjà-vu.
A terrible sense of déjà vu. No, you don't have that. This is the first time either of us has been here. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Are we sure we don't just want to turn around and hightail it out of here? She's going to do unspeakable things to us if we go back there.
Ja, das ist ein neuer Mensch.
Oh, is there another one of us in here? You're a voice of reason, right? Tell them we shouldn't go to the cabin. Tell them we shouldn't even bother.
Also, ich bin verwirrt. Bin ich einfach nur in einer Therapiestunde und das sind alle Stimmen sind von mir?
You are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff that pathetic little voice to the back of your mind and stay focused on the task ahead.
Ja, nee, ich hau ab.
Seriously? You're just going to turn
Errungenschaft
around and
freigeschaltet,
leave?
nope.
Do you even know where you're going?
Okay. Ja, ich weiß auf jeden Fall, wo ich hingehe.
Somehow I doubt that, but fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. That's strange. It looks like this path
Toll.
also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Ich gehe nochmal.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you?
Ja.
It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies.
Ist mir egal.
Dies. Forever.
Was haben diese Everyones jemals für mich getan, hä? Ich rede gar nicht erst
Your
mit dem.
silence is deafening. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say, it seems like the universe itself is doing its best to bring you to your fated confrontation with the princess.
Ja, gut, dann gehe ich halt woanders lang.
There's always a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making the wrong one for pretty much everyone who's ever lived, as well as for everyone who ever will.
Das ist okay. Schlechte Entscheidung kann ich.
And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen.
Ist immer noch scheiße, aber sie hat gesagt, ich soll das nochmal 3 Wochen probieren. Mal gucken.
At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses of familiar wooden structures
Oh Gott, ich
through
muss
the
niesen.
leaves.
Nee, falsche. Dankeschön.
But as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just
Danke,
a
danke.
trick of light. In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back
Weiß
to
auch nicht,
where
locker. Der
you
hat
need
noch
to
ein
be.
Date oder so.
Wait, what's going on? But you're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or cabins appear around you, you're just going to do whatever you can to shirk your responsibility because you care more about irritating me than you do about the fate of the world.
Ja, stimmt.
You've doomed us all, you know that, right?
Ist okay.
But of course you do. Otherwise you wouldn't just wander off into the forest in search of certain death. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness. But it's not like any of that time spent lost in the woods really matters, because it isn't long before the world ends and everyone dies.
Kapitel 2. Schon wieder? Der
You're
Unbekannte.
on a path in the woods,
Och.
and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of
Nee,
that
ich will
cabin,
nicht.
you're here to
Ja. Hä, nee, hat sie doch gar nichts. War doch gar nichts. Ich bin gestorben, was mache ich
I can
hier?
assure you that you're not dead. And to answer your second question, you're here to slay the princess. I literally told you that a second ago.
Es erinnert mich ein bisschen an eine hörspieligere Version von Stanley Parable. Ich finde es bisher super cool gemacht. Also es ist natürlich relativ simpel. Bisher noch. Keine Ahnung, ob es noch richtig krass wird oder so. Vor allem ist es halt eine Demo. Aber irgendwie finde ich es cool.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Yeah, screw this guy. They might have walled off everything but the path to the cabin, but I'm sure there's plenty of other ways we can ruin his day.
Dann Cuties. Nee.
If by ruining my day you mean ruining everyone's day forever, then yes, I suppose there are plenty of ways you could pull that off. Still, the world really did end last time, didn't it? We should be careful. You are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff those pathetic little voices to the back of your mind and stay focused on the task ahead.
Ja, ich werde die auf jeden Fall
You
töten.
know I can tell when you're lying, right? Please take this seriously. I am begging you.
Ja, natürlich werde ich sie
I
töten.
have one last warning for you.
Hä? War davor schon diese Wall? Diese Wand? War die davor schon? Ich glaube auch, Morn. Ich glaube, du bist nicht so ganz in der Gegenwart. Du bist in der Vergangenheit.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Maybe we should believe her.
Der Contrarian, ja geil.
Maybe she isn't a liar.
Ja, richtig.
Ignore them, they're just being difficult for the sake of it.
Nee, ich finde es... Also, finde ich gut.
The interior of the cabin is odd, the air smelling faintly of plastic, the wood of the walls fitting together at uncomfortable angles. The only furniture is a plain wooden
Hat's davor
table,
schon noch Plastik
its
gerochen?
legs all the wrong lengths, causing it to tilt towards the door. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Und lag der Dolch nicht eigentlich weiter am Tischrand?
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. If he wants us to take it, maybe we should just leave it to collect dust. Or better yet, grab it and throw it out the window. What good is a knife
Ja,
against a
richtig.
world-ending monstrosity?
Der Contrarian, der gefällt mir.
I, for one, would rather have it. We don't really know what we're dealing with here. I've already told you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a princess. How many times do I have to explain this incredibly simple and straightforward premise?
Warum redet der immer warum sagt er immer, dass es eine Prinzessin ist, wenn es offensichtlich keine Prinzessin ist? Oh,
You take the blade from the table.
ich habe aus Versehen am
It'd be
Trigger
difficult to
gehangen.
slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Ja, also ich werde sie... Nee. Ja, Klippi, dann stell die Frage.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old wooden staircase. The steps are warped and shoddily constructed. The air seeping up from below is heavy, oppressive, with an odd stink to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs, its multi-tonal lilt adding to the already uneasy atmosphere.
Hello. Is someone there?
This isn't what I expected her to sound like.
Hä, ich bin nicht böse.
What is she? I think we'd all like to know.
Ja, das ist eine andere Brille. Ich habe 3.
You carefully make your way down the stairs.
Das ist Gaming Glass.
As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view.
Zimmerservice.
She locks eyes with you, one moving a little faster than the other. The loose skin of her face stretches into something resembling a smile. Good lord.
Hallo.
Something in her neck bulges, roiling under her skin as she starts to speak, her voice pouring out between her closed
Also das
teeth.
letzte Mal sah die aber noch besser aus.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I had a friend.
Nee, die hat nicht mal 100 € gekostet, diese Brille. To be continued, ja. Errungenschaft freigeschaltet, The Stranger. Hä, voll cool. Hä, wie cool. Was ist das? Hä, was denn Scarlet Hollow?